Darren, for spending time talking to me. I've got quite a few people who are really interested in what Regrarians does, and you were very heavily involved in permaculture for a while, but I understand that you need to become more professional. And as a side note, actually, many of us have become more professional and more scientific in our approach. But what I like about permaculture is that it can be an action plan or a start for most of the people around the world. What does Regrarians offer most of those people around the world that they could, how can they engage with what you do?
Well, I think that's a really good question. We decided with Regrarians that, I'll rephrase that. We can certainly agree with you that there's an omnipotence of offering when it comes to permaculture. Permaculture as a set of ethics and of design principles certainly has a universality to it. And one of the reasons, I suppose, and we'll no doubt get to this, that we decided to, in a way, depart from being defined solely as permaculturalists or take it out of our business name and so on, was because we simply were not working with that same degree of universality. Yeah. In other words, we refined our market somewhat. Yeah. Now, there's a variety of reasons for that. One of them is just practical and pragmatic, with where our family is at the stage of it's at, and so on. But also in terms of us trying to be of service in the best way that we could. I've just finished a 2.5 hour interview with Joel Salatin, and we were talking about service and how important it is to be of service. And I was raised that way, but you've got to be, well, the way I look at it anyway, you've got to be practical and pragmatic about how you can best deliver that service. Mm. And so for me, and so that when I wake up in the morning feeling ready to go and being fulfilled, to do that in the way in a way doing that within the permaculture brief as I saw it, it just wasn't getting me out of bed in the morning anymore. It's more that we wanted to refine who we worked with somewhat, and so we have, and so that's part of it. The other thing was, in the development, I think it was, as I wrote to you before, when we first led to this interview, I grew up on a farm that was developed using the Keyline method, the Keyline, the Australian Keyline plan, P.O. Yeoman's thing, and through that, then was first introduced to the first time I ever heard about permaculture was actually when I read The Natural Way of Farming by Masanobu Fukuoka, his third book, in which there was a photograph of he and Wes Jackson and Bill Mollison standing together. And I went, oh, who's this Australian Bill Mollison? That was in about 1988, 89. And then started to read the magazines and that sort of thing. So I actually went, my learning trajectory, you might say, went from Keyline to Fukuoka to permaculture to holistic management, and then really came back to going, okay, well, there's actually a whole range of other methodologies that are out there as well in what you might broadly frame ecological design methodologies and agro-ecological methodologies and social methodologies and so on, that seemed to me, well, they weren't developed in permaculture. And because I'd I'd started with other methodologies in the first place. I didn't really find that it was appropriate nor accurate to define myself as a permaculturalist as such, or to define our work as permaculture. I felt it was dishonest, to be quite honest, because it wasn't founded on that anymore. So yeah, because I try and keep myself with as much integrity as I can, and I was friends with Bill, and I'm still friends with David, and I honour and treasure the work that they've done, and I would never want to dishonour their work by misrepresenting it, which I see that some people do, and that breaks my heart in a way, but it's something I just didn't want to participate in any further. And just focus my energy and efforts on stuff that I felt most comfortable with and that I'd self-defined, including the pathways and the frameworks around that, which is something that people, I suppose, as you move through your apprentice training period, then you get and you build process, you take feedback, then you get to some sort of level of mastery, for want of a better word, then you can feel more confident in self-defining, which is part of the phase I suppose I've been through.
Lovely, thank you.